Hello. Today we will be going over the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, also known as HIPAA. The point of HIPAA is for any company or individual that comes into contact with PHI, also known as personal health information, must enact and enforce appropriate policies, procedures, and safeguards to protect data. HIPAA violations occur when there has been a failure to enact and enforce appropriate policies, procedures, and safeguards, even when PHI has not been disclosed to or accessed by an unauthorized individual. Some of the violations of HIPAA include lack of adequate risk analysis, lack of comprehensive employee training, inappropriate disclosures of PHI, ignorance of the minimum necessary rule, and failure to report breaches within the prescribed time frame. We will be going over what exactly HIPAA is and how to protect and dispose of PHI and how to report violations. Privacy of patient information has always been a basic right when providing care at exceptional home care. By law, this information is legally protected under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA. HIPAA privacy regulations became effective in April of 2003, and the security regulation became effective in April 2006. At least once per year, we review privacy policies with all employees so they understand how to protect our clients' information. The privacy rule establishes sufficient measures to preserve the privacy of protected health information, as well as limits and conditions on the uses and disclosures of such information that may be made without an individual's consent. It applies to all healthcare organizations, clearinghouses, and entities that provide health services. Individuals have rights to their protected health information under the rule, including the ability to inspect and obtain a copy of their records, direct a covered entity to transmit an electronic copy of their protected health information and an electronic health record to a third party, and request corrections. One of the primary purposes of the privacy policy is to ensure that individuals' health information is appropriately protected while allowing the flow of health information necessary to deliver and promote quality health care, as well as protect the health and welfare of the public. Individually identifiable health information relating to an individual's past, present, or future health status that is created, collected, transmitted, or maintained by a HIPAA-covered institution in connection with the provision of healthcare, payment for healthcare services, or use in healthcare operations is considered protected health information under HIPAA, also known as PHI. Under HIPAA, health information such as diagnosis, treatment information, medical test results, and prescription information, as well as national identification numbers and demographic information like birth dates, gender, ethnicity, and contact and emergency contact information are also considered protected health information. A good way to determine if you should share patient data is to ask yourself, do I or others need this information to do the job? Use this test before you look at patient information or share it with others. The privacy rule requires HIPAA-covered entities to give individuals access to their protected health information kept by or for the covered entity upon request. There are several ways to properly dispose of paperwork. Shredding, burning, or crushing paper records so that PHI is rendered essentially illegible, indecipherable, and otherwise impossible to reassemble. Keeping labeled prescription bottles and other PHI in opaque bags in a secure location and using a disposal provider like a document destroying company to collect, shred, or otherwise destroy the personal health information. For electronic records, using software or hardware products designed to properly overwrite data can be used. Again, the HIPAA privacy rule requires covered entities to implement adequate administrative, technical, and physical safeguards to protect patients' PHI in any form. This requirement extends to PHI disposal, which may occur after a certain period or if a healthcare provider converts patient information into electronic medical records, also known as EMR. The Department of Health and Human Services must be notified if a data breach has been discovered. This must be within 60 days of the breach's discovery for incidents involving 500 or more individuals, and within 60 days of the end of the calendar year in which the breach was experienced for breaches of fewer than 500 records. Individuals whose personal information has been compromised must also be informed within 60 days. You report violations to the company's privacy officer. The privacy officer creates and leads our organization's Health Information Privacy Committee, helps deliver training on health information privacy regulations and procedure, and takes appropriate disciplinary actions and sanctions as needed when any member of the workforce violates privacy policies. If you see any violations of the HIPAA, please contact the office immediately and ask for the privacy officer. The HIPAA privacy rule is not meant to prevent providers from communicating with each other or with their patients. The privacy rule recognizes that in treatment settings, verbal communication must frequently occur freely and quickly. The privacy rule also recognizes that in these situations, overheard communications may be unavoidable and allows for these incidental disclosures. When discussing protected health information in these situations, appropriate safeguards could include speaking quietly or separately from others. However, such procedures may not be possible in an emergency, in a noisy emergency room, or when a patient has a hearing impairment. Covered entities are free to communicate as needed in order to provide prompt, effective, and high-quality health care. Patient privacy encompasses a number of aspects, including physical privacy or personal space, informational data or personal data, personal choices including cultural and religious affiliations or decisional privacy, and personal relationships with family members and other intimates. A basic value in healthcare is the protection of information obtained in connection with the patient's care. Respecting patient privacy is essential as a sign of respect for patient autonomy and a precondition of trust. You may personally ask the individual you know about their condition, and it is their choice what to share with you. You may also ask their permission to share their information with a common friend, but you should never do this without their permission.